What's up, my friends? It is Danny Gallows, of course, who'd you think it was, and welcome to my very first reaction video. No, sorry to disappoint, it's not going to be a traditional reaction, like in the traditional reaction channel style. I won't be that guy. I refuse! Anyway, guys, I just got done watching the Obi-Wan series, episodes 1 and 2. Of course, they just came out, well, you know, I guess if you stayed up until midnight over on the West Coast, you could see them at midnight. But here on the East Coast, we had to wait until 3 a.m. No, I wasn't going to stay up that late for a Disney Plus show, but I did get a chance to watch it literally right now, this morning. It is 10:30. I woke up at around 8 today. Just to watch it because, you know, honestly, guys, I was excited. I mean, look, you know, I think we've all, most Star Wars fans have had a lot of problems with Star Wars ever since Disney kind of stepped in and commandeered Star Wars. I know I did personally. You know, I don't follow the sequel trilogy at all. The only movies I like are Rogue One and the Solo movie. Yes, I love the Solo movie. It's awesome. And I follow a couple other stories too outside, but you know, I really don't like what Disney has been doing with Star Wars. It's been hard for me to get excited and remain excited about Star Wars more and more every year. That kind of, you know, it's wearing down. It's wearing down to the bare metal now, you know, trying to hang on as a Star Wars fan. But you know, when they announced the Obi-Wan series, I was really kind of excited for this because when I saw the trailers, I was like, okay, like this looks good. You know, this looks really good. You know, I wasn't really a fan of The Mandalorian, wasn't a fan of the Book of Boba Fett either. Really lackluster shows in my opinion. But when I saw the trailers for Obi-Wan, I was like, okay, this might be good. Because obviously we all want to see more of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader as well. You know, I talk about this a lot. This is a time period in the Star Wars timeline that's not really covered, oddly enough. This is a really interesting time. This is now, you know, 10 years after, well, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series anyway is set 10 years after. But that whole time period in between episode 3 and 4, you know, we don't really have a lot of material there. You know, we're just now starting to touch on this amazing time period, and there's a lot going on. And so this Obi-Wan Kenobi series is opening that whole field up, and I love that because we're getting to see the Inquisitors go out on their adventures. And this is one of the reasons that I write. You know, some of you guys out there know that I am a Star Wars fan fiction writer, and I don't really like to consider it fan fiction. I like to consider myself an actual Star Wars author. I just don't you know, work for Disney, which of course is fan fiction in a broad term, but I think you guys know what I mean. I write real Star Wars books, and the timeline that I focus on is between episode 3 and 4 specifically because there is so much information there. You know, I was a huge fan of Jedi Fallen Order. It's like the best Star Wars game to come out in recent history, I think, for sure. But it wasn't just the game itself, it was the story, it was the characters, again, the time period that they were touching on, which is really fascinating with all the Inquisitors hunting down the Jedi, and all the different dynamics and story elements that go into that amazing time in Star Wars. So here we are in Obi-Wan, and we arrive 10 years now after the events of episode 3. And you know what's interesting? What actually surprised me the most, I mean, it really did actually kind of shock me a bit. I actually like this series. Yeah, the series has actually been pretty good so far. And again, you know, I don't have much faith in Disney right now with Star Wars, but once in a while, you know, kind of similar to Netflix, right? Like once in a while they put out these gems that are really good. And I think that so far, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series has the potential to be one of those gems. Now, I will say that it's not perfect, right? But, you know, this show has a lot of style, it has a lot of substance so far. I really love the atmosphere, I really love the emotions. I mean, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, of course, has always been perfect casting, but now we're getting to see him as this kind of older, grizzled man that's living out in the desert. And the way that he's portrayed in this show, I mean, it really draws a lot of emotion out of the character. It really makes you feel for the character and connect with the character. And what he goes through, you know, obviously dealing with Owen and trying to watch Luke and everything, you know, it just draws so many memories, you know, having nightmares and flashbacks of, you know, which include scenes from the prequels, right? I mean, it really hits home for Star Wars fans. So I love the way that Obi-Wan Kenobi is being portrayed in this so far. I really like all the stories surrounding and dynamics surrounding the character that's going on right now. And really, you know, a lot of the acting was good, surprisingly. There's a little girl who plays Leia Organa in this, a young Leia Organa, obviously. Spot on casting, spot on performance. She was fantastic, absolutely. They brought in all the sass and everything from her character. I mean, it was great, right? I mean, even Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers is in this movie. He plays a bounty hunter. He was awesome. Of course, we have Bail Organa, and all the Inquisitors too. The Grand Inquisitor, played by Rupert Friend, he was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I loved Sung Kang as the fifth brother. Again, perfect casting. The Inquisitors looked really great. Their affect was perfect, their makeup, their design, right? How they carried themselves, how they acted. You could feel the dark side resonating through them. Well, every Inquisitor except for one, I'll say. And, you know, I feel kind of awkward talking about this. I know I'm probably going to catch a lot of heat for this because of all the politics surrounding the character, obviously. But, yeah, guys, Reva, the third sister, I don't like her character at all, and it has nothing to do with the character itself. Of course, you know, Inquisitors are going to be hunting the Jedi. You're going to have brothers and sisters all around hunting the Jedi. Of course, the third sister would be there. I'm not sure I'm on board with Moses Ingram's portrayal of this character. And something that I thought was very interesting is, if you guys have been watching Star Wars Celebration, which just kicked off yesterday, Moses actually mentioned during an interview yesterday that she's never seen Star Wars movies before she got this role. I mean, I'm assuming that she has now, but before she went into this role, before she was even cast, she never saw a single Star Wars movie. And I'm not one of these, you know, hyper super nerds that are like, oh my goodness, you know, you have to be a super fan to be cast in one of these movies. I don't believe that at all, but all I'm saying is that it certainly helps to have an understanding of where your character is supposed to be coming from, because she mentioned that she had a lot of freedom in this role, which is always good for an actor or an actress to have freedom in their roles. But when we're taking a specific mythology like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or something like that, you must have a knowledge of the universe and who these characters are supposed to be. And I think that that's where the problem is stemming from, is that she doesn't understand Inquisitors. Like I said, you know, everybody else who is cast as an Inquisitor looks and feels and portrays themselves as an Inquisitor, but then when you get to Reva, it's just like a human in an Inquisitor's suit. Like, she has no affect to her character. She has no, like, dark side aura to her character. She's not portraying it as an Inquisitor. She's playing just kind of like a regular female human woman that's in an Inquisitor's suit, and she's just kind of going around, and she sticks out. She sticks out from the rest of the cast because everybody else feels so real, and she feels very forced. That's all I'm saying, is that it feels very forced. And who knows, we're only 2 episodes in, maybe that'll change in the future. I'm totally open to it. I'm still excited to see more of this show because, like I said, it's really good. But yeah, I really hope that, something changes in terms of that, because there's potential with the character, but I'm not seeing it. The other thing that was slightly off-putting about this show, and this seems to be a staple with all Disney Plus Star Wars shows, is that it seems to have a very kind of like cheap, cheesy kind of feel to it, almost like a sci-fi channel show. And that's one thing that I didn't like that about The Mandalorian. I didn't like that about the Book of Boba Fett. They feel very cheaply made. And it's always been strange to me why the movies feel so epic and the TV shows feel so kind of lackluster. Because, I mean, Disney has enough money to sink into these shows. I mean, Disney could buy the moon. They're a mega corporation. They own everything. So I'd like to see some better production quality. I'm not sure why the production quality seems so low on these shows. It just seems kind of like plastic and vanilla, and there's not a lot of like the sets feel cheap, and some of the costumes feel cheap, and some of the atmosphere of the show, like I said, feels a little bit lackluster. So again, maybe it'll change as we go into the future, but it seems to be a staple with these Disney Plus shows is this like sci-fi channel show kind of like feel to it. And it can be a good thing because, I mean, Firefly was a sci-fi channel show, but that was back in the day. I'm talking about more like modern sci-fi channel shows. But yeah, I'd like to see the production increase so that it's on the same level as like a movie. You know what I mean? I want to see like movie level, big epic movie level qualities to these TV shows, because I think it would really enhance it. And also, what the hell was going on with the music in this show? As a musician myself, I have to mention the music because I'm always listening for it. Most of the music in the show is really good. It actually draws on the theme that John Williams himself wrote for this show, the Obi-Wan Kenobi theme, which is another beautiful masterpiece from John Williams. But the rest of the movie, the music in the show, I'm not really sure who composed it, but they're not doing a good job of mimicking John Williams' sound. It sounds like cheery, chirpy, uplifting action music from like a Mission Impossible movie or something like that, like a modern day action movie. It doesn't fit with Star Wars. It's like everything that was outside of John Williams' Obi-Wan Kenobi theme didn't fit, and it really bothered me. Again, I use Jedi Fallen Order as an example here, right? The composers of that soundtrack did a phenomenal job, a spectacular job, perfect job of mimicking John Williams' sound and bringing that into the game, and that's part of what made the game so good. But some of the music in this show, whatever wasn't John Williams, was just not Star Wars. It felt completely out of place, and it really kind of gave the show an odd tone. They have to understand that music obviously is a huge part of Star Wars. Music is what gives Star Wars its lifeblood, and without that, you're just kind of another TV show. But I will say, one aspect that kind of saves the entire show is Deborah Chow's directing. I mean, Deborah Chow, she really is an amazing director. The scenes, the cinematography, and the camera motions, the camera movements, how she kind of like she slows down to capture more character emotion, to kind of bring these moments together. In the film, the past and the present and the future, and all these characters are being moved and changed and shaped and framed into scenes so precisely and so correctly that it really draws you in. You know, there were several moments when I was watching the show where I was just kind of sitting there like, finding myself leaning closer and closer to the TV because I was so kind of captivated with what was going on screen, and that comes from the directing. She does such a great job of actually understanding every single character on that show, understanding their performance qualities, and then drawing that performance quality out of them, so that we wind up with these really, really fantastic performances that feel like, they almost feel like theater or stage performances, when you see these actors. That's the kind of presence they have. And that all comes from Deborah Chow's directing. So I really hope, I believe Ewan McGregor mentioned yesterday, again during Star Wars Celebration, that Deborah Chow was directing every single one of these episodes, so it's going to be one singular vision all the way through. And that, at least, is going to count for a lot, because as we learned from the sequel trilogy, when one director doesn't get the full story portrayed, when it's not the same director for every single film, sometimes that can be absolutely chaotic, right? When you bring multiple people in to write and to direct and to execute a story, all of a sudden it starts going off in 10,000 different directions and starts fracturing into a million pieces, which is what we saw with the sequel trilogy. Well, now with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Deborah Chow, she's doing it all herself. It's just her, and she's directing every single episode. So like I said, at very least we'll have one singular vision, and that is going to make the show definitely, probably come in even above The Mandalorian on Disney Plus in terms of Star Wars series, just because of its quality. And, that's a lot to say about Disney right now. So, in conclusion, I would say that this is a good, not great, sci-fi fantasy TV show with a ton of potential, but also equally a ton of flaws. And again, we're only 2 episodes in. We still have, I think it's a 6-episode show, I believe. So we still have a decent amount to go. Each episode is an hour long. So we still have a decent amount of time to go. Let's see if they improve. Let's see if it improves, or let's see if it gets worse. Because right now it looks pretty good, but it does have the potential also to dive bomb, so I don't really know what to think. But right now, I'm actually, surprisingly, feeling pretty good about this show. It's surprisingly good so far. And I'm really kind of excited to see what's going to come next, because, It's been a long time since we've had something good from Disney. I'm not going to score this thing. This was just kind of to give you guys my initial reaction to just finishing the first 2 episodes. Not a traditional reaction video, like I said. Not going to put my face in the thumbnail. I can do it for you now if you guys want. This is going to be the thumbnail. Or this. Or this. Right? But I don't do that. That's not me. Alright my friends, well that's enough blathering from me. Now comes the best part of the video where I turn it over to all of you. So have you guys had a chance to see the first 2 episodes of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series? If so, leave all of your thoughts and opinions down below in the Great White Void. I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think about it? Do you agree with me? Do you not disagree with me? Is this one of the best TV shows that you've seen so far on Disney Plus, or is this one of the worst? What do you guys think about the potential? What do you guys think is going to happen in the future? What are your concerns with the show? Voice all of your opinions down below, and I'll look forward to reading through all of your comments. But for now, until next we meet, take care, guys, and I'll see you guys back here for the next video very soon. May the Force be with you.